Hey there, autograph users. What's going on? It's your boy Jonathan Macri with you for an autograph exclusive Knicks season preview. So before I get down to business and talk about the team that we all root for, quick thanks to my friends at Autograph. We started a partnership with Autograph last year at Knicks Film School, and I think a lot of people got a lot out of that partnership, whether it be discounted tickets or different giveaways, or just like a one-stop shop to listen to, you know, everybody's favorite Knicks content, whether it's from Knicks Film School or anywhere else. There's like so much good stuff out there. I wish I had more time to consume it myself. But they reached back out and wanted to re-up the partnership and maybe extend it into some other areas, which I'm really excited about, that you're going to be hearing about in the days and weeks to come. Just really excited that they have given me an opportunity to further connect with all of you out there in some different ways, because I know I'm always wondering, like, are there fans out there who I'm not reaching, or who maybe, you know, consume some forms of content that I don't reach, or, you know, for whatever reason, I can't, you know, get to or connect with. So I think Autograph is going to make that a lot easier for me to do this season. So yeah, long story short, stay tuned. So as part of the partnership with Autograph this year, I am doing this exclusive season preview for the Knicks. And my buddy Zach asked me to do this, and I spent a little time thinking about how exactly I wanted to go about doing it, because like, season previews are a dime a dozen. Even if you get a good quality season preview from someone that knows the team and understands the team and has followed the team for a while, I feel like a lot of the same talking points kind of get brought up over and over again. Even like a lot of the same stats. Like, for instance, looking at the Knicks this season, I'm writing something, you know, for the Knicks Film School newsletter, which, by the way, you could read the Monday editions here on Autograph, in which I kind of go through some like key points for the season, key aspects of what side they're going to come down on. And I'm like, do I want to talk about Karl Towns' 3-point shooting and like how much he's going to put up threes? I'm like, we've already kind of been over that. Like, everybody knows he needs to shoot threes to be most effective in any offense. So I want to try to just get into each player individually, both in terms of what they could do by themselves and in terms of how their performance this season, what ways their performance this season can most impact the success of the team. And I wanted to try to find some stats, or find some statistical categories, I guess is the better way to say it, which would really hone in on some things that I'm looking for, again, as far as specific players and how those specific players impact the Knicks' ability to win games. Because that's obviously what this year is all about. I guess a quick 10,000 foot view of this team, which I know I don't really do a lot at Knicks Film School because we're so in the weeds. I think you could argue that this is the most unique season for them in terms of anticipation, in terms of investment from the organization and the roster, and in terms of talent and how good they are and how well they fit together. I mean, there are really only 2 or 3 other teams in my lifetime. I'm going to be 42 by the end of the season, and you could say the 2012-13 team. You could say, and then I think you have to go to the 96-97 team. Shout out to Alan Hahn. He brought up that team when I had him on the podcast last week. And then 92-93, and then 93-94. And I understand, like, I'm leaving out like 99 when they went to the finals, but like going into that season, they were kind of all over the place. You know, obviously the Sprewell trade had been made, but I would say those 3 years in the 90s, and then 12-13, and then this year, as far as expectations, as far as how like all in they were on the roster in terms of, it's like, all right, we're not bringing along any young players. We're not worried about draft picks. It's like, we're all in on this season. Any move we make is going to be in furtherance of getting the team better for this year. and the trades for Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns both established that. Even though the Bridges trade was the trade that sent out all the picks and the Towns trade only sent out players, and you could say, well, the Bridges trade was really the trade when they went all in. Yes, it was. But at the same time, if you listen carefully over the summer, like to really like NBA folks who really had a clue, shout out Zach Lowe and rest in peace his NBA or ESPN career. Like the whole summer, he would go on pods and talk about, yeah, Randle's important, but maybe as important was Julius Randle's salary slot, and that was kind of the last pivot point the Knicks had if they were going to make a change. So when they cashed in that chip for Towns, and obviously it cost them DiVincenzo as well, not to say that they're going to be locked into this roster forever. Like there's always ways to maneuver. You know, I think the Bucks showed you that a year ago when they traded Drew Holiday for Damian Lillard. But even like in as much as what is realistic and in terms of like how they have shown the commitment to the players that are here, the core players, which is basically the starting five, like this is it. You know, this is as it as any team in the NBA. You know, other than save maybe Boston and one or two others. So it's obviously a big year for those reasons, and I think it's also just a big year because and again, I push back against the narrative often that like, well, a team's development over the course of several seasons on their path to a championship is not always linear. We often think about the 90s Knicks and especially the Riley years, right? Where it's like, it felt like every year they would win an additional playoff round until they got up into that almost the promised land of the finals. It rarely works like that. It really does. Oftentimes you're kind of, well, maybe this year we'll win 2 series, and next year we'll win 1, and the next year we'll win 3. And like, all you have to do is look at Boston. Their ups and downs and everything in between over the 8 or 9 years leading up to their championship last season. So, all that said, kind of feels like it's not conference finals or bust. I don't want to say that because it's not true. But for a team that is as well set up for the next 4 seasons, if you look at their contracts and the ages of their players, as the Knicks are, it does feel like there is an inordinate amount of pressure for them to break through that conference semifinals barrier this year. And, I don't know that part of that is from fans. I think certainly part of that is the players themselves. And yeah, it's absolutely from the organization. And like, if they had a different owner, and this is not a critique at James Dolan, believe me, I want to be very clear about that. But if they had a different owner, like, are we sure they would have gone about this as aggressively as they have this summer? Or might they have, bided their time a little bit more and like, but I don't know. I think that's a fair question to ask at the very least, depending, your mileage may vary on your answer. Okay. So that's enough preamble. Everybody knows what this team is and what their goals are. Let's talk about the players that are going to make, decide whether or not they are going to be fulfilling those goals or not.